We have monkey brains. We like to believe that we are this supreme evolutionary product with our ability to have conscious thought, our ability to create things that no other species can really create. But ultimately, we have monkey brains. And most of human achievement is led by few individuals who stood out from the rest and took leadership. We as individuals stand out from animals primarily because of our ability to learn from our predecessors through education, word of mouth, etc., and build upon the knowledge of other humans. Our ability to combine information is what actually allows us to do what we do. Because if you think about it, if you didn't have knowledge from other humans, we would basically still be monkeys if we didn't have the capacity for communication. I mean, maybe we would have like houses still, or like huts or whatever that we did in tribes. Maybe, I don't know, but we are monkeys, and that means we are affected by many biologically programmed responses caused through evolution. So you have to accept that you're going to have impulses. You're going to be impulsive about making decisions, about reacting to situations, but from stimulus to response. But here the quote from Viktor Frankl: between stimulus and response, the space between stimulus and response lies our ability to choose. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. The space between stimulus and response. If you think about it, most people, most times, don't create that space between stimulus and response. And it's the act of opening that space for choice is something that it's not something you can just hear and go, yeah, I'm gonna do that now. It's something that you remember over and over again, so that way we can work beyond the base abilities of the monkey brain. Okay, next. It is okay. Actually, this is related to the monkey brain. We have thoughts, and we have actions, and we have stimulus. So events, stimulus, whatever. Actually, there's one more. What is it? Let me see. Oh, and feelings. Yes. So usually, there's event, then feelings, and then thoughts or behavior. That's the default mode of interaction. But the truth is, from event to feeling, there's actually a thought in between. And also between thought, feeling, and behavior. Thought affects behavior and emotion. Behavior affects thought and emotion. And emotion affects thought and behavior. All three of them affect both of the others. That's why a lot of the time it's easier to change your actions before your thoughts or your feelings. Maybe sometimes for some people, the thing is, when you have, if it's your feelings that suck, then that makes your thoughts and your actions suck. And sometimes you have to first change your thoughts or change your actions, or both if you want to change the feelings. Actually, most of the time. And sometimes, when all three of them suck, the easiest way is usually to change your actions first. And that's because you can change your actions on autopilot. So, for example, when we perform most tasks, we do it on autopilot. The only thing is starting the task that takes conscious action. Also, from stimulus to feeling, usually there's a thought that triggers that feeling. I'll give you an example. Let's say there's something that makes you angry. It's usually not just the thing that makes you angry, but a thought you have about the thing that makes you angry. For example, maybe the teacher comes in, maybe you're having a fight with a kid, and the teacher comes in and only saw you hitting the other kid, so she goes, come with me to the office. It's not you immediately being angry. First it's, but he hit me first, or that's so unfair, or I shouldn't have to. And then you become angry, right? It's like event, thought about the event, emotion. And so our ability to intercept, look at the thought and pause and go, wait a minute, is this thought about the event truly worth getting angry about, or whatever? That ability is the training to overcome the monkey brain. Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay. Next, when you want something, you usually don't look at the problems associated with that thing. Or maybe you do look at the problems and you go, I want it anyway. The key here is that when we make choices, we usually look at something we want or don't want to do. Or like, for example, you look at something, you go, I want it, and then the other part of you goes, but I don't really want to do what it takes to get it. So that's the part that you don't want, or perhaps consequences that come with it. Like, for example, if you want an expensive car, it takes much more, you have to be much more careful with it, or whatever. And then, but then you evaluate what you currently have and what you don't want that comes associated with not having that. And then you weigh them, and usually there's going to be a clear answer. So a lot of the time it's not worth doing it because I don't really want $1 million because of the problems that come with it. Or maybe it's, I really want $1 million because I'm not willing to settle for less. Because if I stay with what I have now, I can't settle. I can't live with that. People are different. Some people are okay with, are happy with 70, 100, 150, 200,000 annual salary, and then go, yeah, I mean, I have everything I want. I'm not willing to take the 10 extra miles it takes every day to take it to the next several levels, for example. Okay. And as Mark Manson summarizes it, it's you choose your shit sandwich. So everything comes with a shit sandwich. You choose the one you're most okay with. And you don't choose, because everything has its downsides. So there's pros and cons. Sometimes we only look at the pros, and what happens is we look at the pros that we don't have, and then sometimes we just go, oh, if only I had that, or I should have got that. But like it's not actually. But when you analyze the cons and go, I don't actually want that, it does no longer has the act of not having it no longer has negative influence on you. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay. If you feel bad and you want to feel okay, you have to work on yourself. If you feel okay and you want to feel great, amazing, you have to now help others. Because that's what takes. Because first you have to fill your own cup, and then you can pour out what you have for others. You can't pour out what you don't have. And also, you can only fill so much in a cup. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, when you pour this, I don't really like this metaphor that much, because like when you pour it out, you're not actually losing what you have in your cup. But I don't actually know a better analogy. Whatever. But basically, it's like it's if you feel shit, you have to change your life. If you feel okay and you want to feel amazing, you have to create value for other people in some way. That's purpose. Okay. Identity. Okay. Oh my goodness. If you think something is true about yourself, that doesn't have to be your identity. Oh my goodness. People fucking do this. Like, it means that if someone has a comment about this fact, or this group of or people who have this fact, it's now an attack on the person. It's time to wage war. It is you against me. Like, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I think the example was minimal group identity or something that I mentioned before, which basically says, if you are grouped into two groups, and okay, on arbitrary metrics, you can identify with your group, and now it's your group versus them. And the way they conducted this experiment, and there's a lot of different experiments like this, was they took a group of people, they took like some very arbitrary test that makes no sense, and then they split the people based on the results of this test. And the metric was just random. Like, the metric doesn't actually affect who you are, but now that you are split into two groups, now you identify with your group, and there's the other group. Now, you may not be raising your pitchforks yet or anything, but what they did was they would tell the individuals to split an amount of money among everybody, and they would generally favor their group that they were categorized in, just based on the arbitrary metric. And the thing is, the purpose of the test was to see how arbitrary the metric has to get where people start becoming fair. But the point is, the discovery was that it takes very little for people to identify with a group. You have to understand that something you think may be true about yourself doesn't have to be something you carry with you as part of your identity. That represents who you are, what you believe in, what you live for. It's like you it might not, like, things you believe are true about yourself can change. You don't have to go. I think this is actually why there's like this, so many people who believe they are something that they may not be, because they go, I have this, I'm feeling this way. Look at this group of people who felt this way, drew this conclusion, and are now a happy, cohesive group that are standing against the world. I feel this way, therefore I must also be part of this identifying factor of this group, and therefore part of this group. So I should join them and find my identity there. I will defend this group with my life. I'll fight for this group. And then you get this hyper divisive world as a result of what people promote on social media. It is pretty crazy. Minimal identity, something. I can't remember exactly what it was called. Very absurd. Okay. How you feel about your experiences in the past is basically what builds up self-esteem. And the point of therapy is to change the way you feel about past experiences that are kind of vague. So I think what it was like, self-esteem is the sum of how you feel about the events in your life or something. I can't remember. I don't even know if that's precise. I don't think that's exactly true. I wouldn't exactly identify closely with that, but I do get its point. And I do think it's at least partially or mostly true. And the point of therapy is you've got all of these bad memories that have, what's the word? Contagious effects that like it has after effects that spread out that you don't even like remember clearly what the memory is. But the way your memories actually change, the way you feel about memories change, and that actually causes the way you remember the memory to change. So like the memory itself can actually change. So and therapy apparently, or I think, I don't actually know, I've never been to therapy, but I read somewhere that listen, this is probably not even factual, but what they do is they try to get those memories, dig them up, examine them, so you can change how you think about them, and that will improve your self-esteem because your self-esteem is the sum of how you feel about your experiences. Or something like that. I don't know. And then they go through your different experiences, I guess, to improve your self-esteem, so that you don't have these like things that drag you down and give you shitty core beliefs, I guess, maybe. Like if you think you're unlovable or whatever, maybe we look at events that cause that, unravel that, go, this does not, A does not imply B, so you go, okay, maybe B is not true, and then you feel better or something. I don't know. Anyways. Okay. It is fucking difficult to communicate the way you want to. It is so difficult because it is so easy in the moment to say the first things that come to your mind. Monkey brain. That was the mistake I make. A mistake I seem to keep making. Very difficult. Every single one of these things I learn aren't just like, okay, I learned that now. Now I know this. This is fantastic. It's like I have to slowly practice and build this skill over time. It's not like a fact that now just is my life, part of my life. I now brush my teeth every day, and now I learned this and it's different. It's like I do this a little bit better every week or something. And so as you learn these things, the thing is, they don't tell you things you don't find obvious. It's just the explicit articulation has the ability for you to makes it actionable. It's the point of this kind of information. All right. That is sufficient for today. I'll talk to you boys next time. If there's anyone. I don't know. Nobody should be watching this. It's fine.